of the TNA party, the now defunct TNA party, that is Onyango Oloo, defecting to ODM. Let me bring in our senior political reporter, Duncan Khaemba. Duncan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Did you see this coming?
Yes, but not that we expected him to go to ODM, more so given the fact that we know how lethal he was and more of an attack dog he was to the then Jubilee wing. But this fact that after parties folded up, his continued silence or out of limelight in Jubilee activities, perhaps we were wondering where was he headed. And yes, so we knew at some point he could be making a statement, but ODM was the last party I thought that's where he could end.
Right, I remember interviewing him like a year ago and him telling me that, of course, we shall be looking for those sound bites later on, that in 2017, he and his TNA and other parties will make sure they deal one final blow to Raila Odinga's political career, now saying that he will support him in the forthcoming general election. Will he get the support that he wants from the ODM hierarchy?
Well,
can they trust him?
Politics, they say, day in politics can change a lot, and the fact that you see, they don't have any reason not to trust him because he's not only one. Remember where Musalia was in 2013. Where is he now? Remember where Kalonzo was in 2007, 2008. Where did he end up in 2013? So in politics, politics is fluid. It's like something that if you put it in a gourd, it takes that shape. If you put it in a jerrycan, that is the shape it will take. If you put it in a pipe, so that's how politics is. It's actually fluid and you cannot actually pinpoint. And again, we are in a season of political realignments. Believe me, we are yet to see more. Wait until 8th of February when more civil servants resign. And then, of course, with whatever they have, the resources, when they now join the existing parties, you'll see more people being elbowed out. So they have no reason to doubt him. Politics is politics. They say a day in politics can mean a lot. Somebody can be with you in the afternoon, 8 p.m., they're doing totally different thing. You remember Ngilu on the 4th of December 2012. In the morning, she was at KICC. At the evening, she was with the Jubilee. In the morning, went to the KICC where code was being pronounced. In the afternoon, she was back to Jubilee. So that is a day in politics.
Right. This was prophesied by some naysayers of the Jubilee party, saying that because of parties folding up, could it be that Onyango Oloo, having enjoyed being part of the top hierarchy in the former TNA party, has maybe found himself not close to power enough?
Yes, I guess, and it's my opinion for the record, but I think for Onyango Oloo, it's a case of he has felt some sense of betrayal. As you've said, having been that serious attack dog of the Jubilee wing against, of course, the party that is synonymous with Nyanza, that's ODM, for them to relegate him and bring Tuju Fisher, former Minister Tuju from nowhere, and make him head the secretariat, of course, he must have felt some sense of betrayal. So for him to move out, it's what somebody would say, in as much as it's a big political news, to some extent it has been informed by the sense of betrayal. But again, you'll ask yourself, what does Onyango Oloo bring on board? To some, they are saying maybe it's a dry stock harvest. We don't know, but
that was my next question. What do you think he brings on to the ODM table or to the opposition table?
We know that the position, Secretary Generals wield a lot of power within a party. Of course, they are the most powerful after the party leader. The chairman comes third in terms of party hierarchy. So for him to have been the Secretary General of a party that was crafted a few months to a general election, then the party leader ascended to power to become president, of course he must have been well versed with a lot of networks and all that. So maybe for ODM, what he'll bring with maybe top secrets. Of course, you can see the bitterness with which he's explaining and saying that they've decided they are crossing over the floor and they'll make sure that they make history again, just like in 2013. So maybe what the ODM stands to benefit is his network. He was at the center of TNA by extension, because it's TNA that did, I think, a lot in terms of having the presidential candidate, and as much as the DP was from URP. So maybe what he brings on board, if at all he'll decide to share the secret of how they did it, and maybe he'll say this is how TNA did it, and maybe ODM, if you do it this way, you might improve on what TNA did, or if you do it this way, you might achieve the same results we achieved under TNA. So largely it's the network and the strategy. So he could be very, very helpful to some extent.
Right. And what could he be aiming for? What could he get in that very murky opposition setup?
Fortunately, of course, he'll be asked what he's bringing on board. Of course, it's not anything to do with financial clout, and therefore it's the network, of course, in terms of the network and the strategy. Now, fortunately for him, we understand he's eyeing a seat whose current member has been a chief rebel. That's Ken Obura, Kisumu Central. So lucky for him, he might not face stiff opposition from the incumbent, because the incumbent is rumored to have fallen out with the powers that be within CORD and, of course, within ODM. So the advantage with him, perhaps he might trade in. He brings in the strategy, the know-how, the expertise and all that. Then perhaps he might land that slot for Kisumu Central. Here, that is the parliamentary seat that is eyeing.
What about, finally, Jubilee? Will they feel the pinch so much?
Not really, because Jubilee has been a hard sell in Nyanza. You remember that the president, apart from the 2 occasions he's been in Kisumu for 5 years, he's never gone there. Of course, you've seen the itinerary that the State House spokesperson has released, that the president is beginning a countrywide tour, and largely it's just where he came from the other day, Central. So Jubilee has been a hard sell in Nyanza, and therefore nothing much in terms of resources or in terms of the support base, because it has been like what people say, trying to do what? Sell pork in Saudi Arabia, where it's not welcome and all that. So.
All right. Thanks, Duncan. Senior political reporter Duncan Khaemba there, just putting some perspective into this latest move where former TNA Secretary General Onyango Oloo has defected to the Orange Democratic Movement. Of course, it is a game of musical chairs. We shall be, analyzing this in greater detail to just put it into perspective for you. Let's now cross borders.